Imagine you're in the middle of a conversation. Someone asks you a simple question in English, and you freeze. By the time you've prepared an answer, the group has moved on to the next topic. This delay happens because your brain is running a four-step mental gymnastics routine. You hear English, translate to your native language, formulate a reply, and translate back. Learners assume fluency means running this cycle faster, drilling vocabulary, hoping speed makes the freeze disappear. But the four-step method is a fundamentally flawed strategy for conversation. No matter how much you practice, the mental overhead of translation will always create a delay. To understand why, we have to look at the brain's working memory. You can think of this as your brain's RAM, the limited space used to hold and process active information. When you try to juggle two different vocabularies and a complex set of grammar rules simultaneously, you quickly exhaust that available space. This cognitive overload leads to a system crash. The result is stuttering, long hesitations, and the sudden feeling of your mind going blank. Contrast this with 5-year-old native speakers. They communicate with total fluidity, yet they've never studied a grammar rule or translation list in their lives. These children aren't just translating faster than you. They are using a different neural pathway that avoids the working memory bottleneck entirely. According to Michael Ullman's research, the human brain uses two separate memory systems for language, and they serve very different purposes. First is declarative memory. This system is designed for storing explicit facts, dates, and conscious rules. It's great for learning, but it's slow to retrieve. On the other side is the procedural system, responsible for physical habits, pattern recognition, and muscle memory, built for speed and automaticity. But traditional language education exclusively trains the slow, declarative system. Memorizing textbook formulas and translation lists bogs down the brain's fact-checking network. This creates an anatomical mismatch. Schooling often trains the part of the brain used for recalling facts to perform a task that actually requires muscle memory. Children build language through direct association. When they see an object, they map the sound of the word directly to the image without any middle step. Adult learners map an English word to their native language, which points to the concept. True fluency requires a direct link from English to the concept, bypassing the native language entirely. This direct connection, known as concept mediation, is the primary goal of language acquisition. To reach this state, you have to starve a native language connection. This forces the brain to wire English labels directly to real-world objects and meanings. The challenge for adults is learning how to trigger that fast procedural network and move away from the slow declarative system. Procedural memory doesn't respond to grammar rules. It only learns through massive repetition and the recognition of recurring patterns in a natural context. This is achieved through massive comprehensible input, listening to content where you naturally understand about 80% of what is happening without using a dictionary. By prioritizing high-volume listening over grammar textbooks, you allow your brain to build the automatic neural patterns necessary for real-time speech. One exercise designed to help the brain decouple these native language ties is the silent movie method. You find a movie scene, turn the audio completely off, and disable all subtitles. As the scene plays, you describe the actions you see out loud in English. With no audio, your brain has no native language triggers. It is forced to map raw physical reality directly to your English vocal movements. This exercise helps the brain transition toward direct English thought by creating a bridge between visual concepts and articulation. Developing fluid speech involves moving the burden of processing from the declarative system and into the procedural network. You can test this today. As soon as this video ends, find a short clip, mute the sound, and narrate what you see out loud. Fluency relies on building a direct, unmediated connection between the language and the meaning it carries.